There is something called surviving your mother. What does that look like? And where actually did it start for you?
I feel like a lot of us have actually survived our mothers.
You are talking about the mother wound. You are talking about something that emanates from when someone has abused you only.
Yeah. In any other relationship, if you were emotionally abused, verbally abused, physically abused in some, or even abandoned multiple times, that we can recognize that as having survived that relationship. Right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to a mom, like, how can you survive your mom?
And I then knew that there's something called mother hunger.
Yes.
And being under mother.
Yes. But what you are describing here is neglect.
Yeah.
Right? We do ourselves a disservice when we focus on good and bad. Right? Because, the reason we go to gym to punch those bags is because we are trying to bring something down, anger, something, and kids can become a punching bag for mothers who don't have the skills to regulate their own emotions or are just too lazy.
This is generational.
Where mothers know better, but they don't do better.
How do you not mop the floor, Wena?
I was a child. Why was I expected to figure things out? I think now with the age of technology, we're going to see many different ways that people are wounding children. Putting children on social media, expecting them to work for views and whatnot. And these kids have cameras in their faces every single day.
With Shaka, I honestly think Shaka Zulu's mother wound led him to his death.
Yeah.
Because he himself struggled with the fact that his mother suffered because of his birth.
And that's why I was calling it the cultural mother wound, because we are being raised by mothers who see us as competition as well.
Where does that come from?
Also, you are right. There are patterns already that show this is where it's going. If you do 1, 2, 3, if that man tells you and he's left 6 women, can you?
Hello and welcome back to the Legacy Collective with Kanyisa. This is a platform where we speak about, heal from and transform our legacies. Legacies that have been passed down to us, legacies that we're living out to live to the next generation. And joining me today is Moshitadi Lehlomela, a mother wound coach and a double author of very incredible books, Healing the Mother Wound and The Girl That Survived Her Mother. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Sure. Moshitadi, thank you for these incredible books. I must admit that the first time I saw your book, I think it was in a bookstore somewhere, and it was in an island I was passing, and I saw The Girl That Survived Her Mother.
Yeah.
And my first thing was, what?
Yeah.
Survive your mother? How do you survive your mother? Why would you need to survive your mother? And I think over time, when I got introduced to the healing work that I've had to do in my life, the healing work that I've had to facilitate for firstborn daughters to go through this channel and the work that we do outside, I then realized that that's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a thing. And someone today might be, for the first time, seeing this, that there is something called surviving your mother. What does that look like? And where actually did it start for you?
Well, my story is very long. They would have to read the book.
Yeah, sure.
But I feel like a lot of us have actually survived our mothers. I think the condition of childhood makes you vulnerable. And if you have a mother that has bully tendencies, you could be suffering in that relationship. But pretty much what the book is about the concept of the mother wound. Right. And what the mother wound is pretty much trauma that you get from your relationship with your mom. This could be abuse, neglect, or abandonment.
Okay.
And it could also just be absence of a mother, just that lack of nurturing. And that contributes to the coping mechanisms that you develop as a child.
Okay.
To deal with that situation. And also the limiting beliefs that you form around a whole lot of things, relationship, money, and yourself as a human being. What is my place in the world? Who am I? And all of those things. So the way that you define yourself becomes informed by that trauma, and it becomes the mother wound. So a lot of us have a mother wound, and as a result, we've survived our mothers. And I say this because in any other relationship, if you were emotionally abused, verbally abused, physically abused in some, or even abandoned multiple times, is that we can recognize that as having survived that relationship, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to a mom, like, how can you survive your mom? And I'm glad we use this title, because I think it opens up the conversation to what does it look like to have a good childhood, right? And what does abuse in the mother-child relationship look like?
Sure.
So we can have these very important conversations about the motherhood and healing from that.
Yeah. You know, and when you're saying abuse and neglect and so on, I did think for the longest time that when you are talking about the mother wound, you are talking about something that emanates from when someone has abused you only.
Yeah.
Right? So people that have suffered mother wounds have bad mothers.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I have come to learn, I mean, I have my own experience that I downplayed of a mother wound.
Yes.
Where my mother is an incredible woman. But she had me at an age where she had no business having a child. Right? And because she should have, she went to school, left me with my grandmother.
Yes.
And then for about a long time, I lived with my grandmother, and that's a relationship that I built with my grandmother. And after school, she went to work somewhere else. And then I lived with my dad.
Yeah.
And then I think only after, was it like 12? She came back.
Yeah.
Right. And at that point, I was just like over her.
Yeah.
I was just like over the whole setup, because I didn't know what it looks like to be mothered with her.
Yeah.
So when I thought about the mother wound, I thought it only happens when someone's mother is bad. And I then knew that there's something called mother hunger.
Yes.
And being under mothered.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you define that as someone who's sitting and thinking, I don't think my mother is bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt her and say I've got a mother wound.
Yes.
Because I always thought I'm hurting my mother if I say I've got a mother wound.
A lot of daughters feel that
because
way.
I don't think she did anything bad. But like, she left me. And that is abandonment.
Yeah.
Right? How do you help someone who is struggling with that?
Yeah. And I never use words like bad. This is why I also mentioned that I don't use words like narcissist and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because there's like so many blind spots in being a human being. But what you are describing here is neglect.
Yeah.
Right. And oftentimes when we speak about the mother, when people look at the abuse part.
Yes.
Right. So verbally abused, physically abused, then it must be a mother wound. But there's the part where you just never had a mom.
Yeah.
Right. There's also another part of the mother wound, and I think you mentioned this with mother hunger, is that there are people who are adopted, and so they're separated from their biological mother.
Yeah.
And they call that the primal wound, but it is part of the mother wound, right? The longing for that connection with someone that you share DNA with. This is what many other kids get that you never had to have. And there's so many things at play with that, because when we talk about parenting, we're also talking about relationship. So a parent is giving you what you need, protection, and nurturing and all of those things, but they're also building a relationship with you.
Yeah.
And that connection is what makes you healthy. We need that as human beings.
Yes.
Human beings are wired for connection. And so when you don't have that, already you're neglected. So you haven't been raised by your grandmother and your mother not being there. You were deprived of the relationship part of that, the connection part of that. And it makes sense that at age 12, you're like, I don't know this person.
Yeah.
Right. And all of that time, because a lot of the wiring that happens before you are 7 years old. A lot of what you're going to carry subconsciously into adulthood happens way, way earlier, right?
Yeah.
So that relationship, when it's not started from infancy, it becomes very difficult for you to even form that connection with your mom. And we need that connection. It makes us confident in the world. It helps us define who we are as human beings and what we think we deserve, right? If my mother was available, maybe I'm just deserving of like really good things in life, right? Yeah. But when that didn't happen, you also develop a sense of lack, right? Because you see other kids around you have what you do not have. And that forms a belief system around how you move forward as a human being. So it's not a matter of my mother did something bad. It's my mother was unhealthy, right? emotionally unhealthy, maybe not even mature enough, incapable of offering me, did not have the skills and the tools to offer me what I needed. And as a result, I'm struggling with 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I think we do ourselves a disservice when we focus on good and bad, right? Because then we are going to see some of these things in ourselves. And if we are relating with it from a place of bad, and we're already shaming ourselves, and you can't shame yourself into healing, you can't shame yourself into loving yourself, right? So it's not a matter of bad. It's not a matter of that mother is good, that mother is bad. Is that mother is healthy, that mother has tools, that mother has skills, and this one does not. And as a result of them not having those skills, I lack 1, 2, 3. Right? And that is the trauma that we are talking about. So a lot of us have to move away from that judgment of, my mother was such a horrible person. To my mother just didn't have the skills. Or sometimes, because I've seen it also where mothers know better, but they don't do better.
Okay.
Yeah, because, and you see this in human nature as well, Kanye, where you work with people and when you are not around, they just don't do their job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they know they should do their job.
They know they should do their job, but they're taking advantage of the fact that there will not be any consequences.
Yeah.
And that's also something that exists in the mother-child relationship where who's going to tell me what? This is my child. Right? And if you have a mother that
because I said so.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have a mother that is running away from her own need to maybe regulate her own emotions, she's going to beat you to regulate her own emotions. Because, the reason we go to gym to punch those bags is because we are trying to bring something down, anger, something. And kids can become a punching bag for mothers who don't have the skills to regulate their own emotions or I'm just too lazy, because there's also that. I'm just too lazy to do this and there's no consequences and therefore I will do it on my child.
On my child.
So it's like
they're defenseless.
Yeah, exactly. So it offers that room for a mother that is lazy, that has bully tendencies to reenact those things in that relationship. So it's a bit more nuanced than, my mother struggled with 1, 2, 3. She had her own depression. It could also just be a human being deciding to be sneaky.
Yeah. Sure. And this is generational.
Yes.
And that's why I think I said that the mother wound, what we're talking about here is the legacy of the mother wound.
Yes.
Because we'll be robbing each other and ourselves of an opportunity if we acted like what our mothers did or did not do stems from them and their decision.
Oh, yes.
Right? And it's just a thing between us and them.
Yes.
And I always say in the retreats that when you are trying to heal from anything, you need to understand that you are healing not a mother wound, you're healing a mother line. You are crying for women that have not cried before, right? And you're trying to have women after you not cry, at least to some extent, right? And I remember a lady there saying to me that one of the things she struggled with, and mine was vice versa, she struggled with how her mother didn't love her, right? And it hit her harder when she had a child.
Yeah.
When she had her daughter and realized this gushing feeling of love that she has towards her daughter, she then was like, oh, hang on. So, but why wasn't this one as loving as I am to this one?
Yeah.
So something must have been wrong with me, because if I could love this human being the way I love them and my mother couldn't love me, clearly I was the broken thing in this situation. Right.
That's usually where most people are.
Yeah.
And that's just the response of a child. So children are meaning-making machines. This is happening because of this. They're trying to make sense of the world, right? Yeah. And because children are wired to revere our mothers, because we need to revere them. We need to trust them if we're going to survive, right? A child needs to do that. And so if something is wrong, it's me.
It's me. Yeah.
And this is why a lot of us get into these. We were talking about this earlier, where we're like, my love language is acts of service. A lot of us were trying to win that love because we were like, it's me. It has to be me. And if I could just do 1, 2, 3, then I could solve this issue over here. And oftentimes it's not an issue that you can solve. And what I found with other women as well is they have a child And then they're like, actually, it's so easy for me to love my child. Maybe I was easy to love. So we have like different responses to that, where someone is like, actually, maybe I was easy to love and my mom was just not was not able to love me. But then there's those who were still stuck in that shame of childhood who say, okay, it must be because there was something particularly wrong with me. And the thing about children and why unconditional love is reserved for children, it's because they don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
They literally have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And their brains are not yet well developed. These are just, they're absorbing what is around them. And being so hard on that, like even now when I think about myself as a child, I'm like, I was a child. Why was I expected to figure things out? Yeah. You know, your brain is not fully developed until you're 25, 26.
Yeah.
But a lot of us at age 9, there was so much that was expected of us.
You reminded me of this lady who was saying, and this is the experience that we have as firstborn daughters, right?
Yeah.
Where you're always so scared of resting.
Yes.
You're scared of just being fine. Like I see it even when I do the events or even this podcast. Like, okay, Moshitadi is here, everything is fine, but I just feel like, no, there has to be something else that I must arrange.
Yeah.
It can't be all.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how it came from the fact that this woman would say to her, Nchanama.
Yeah.
And make sure that it's melted, right? And make sure that your siblings have done their homework. This is like a 12-year-old.
Yes.
And she does exactly that.
Yeah.
She takes out the meat, it's melting, the kids are done, they've been bathed and in the end, right? And then they sit and they watch TV.
Biggest mistake.
They sit and they watch TV and they're fine. And then this woman comes back home and she's like, how do you not mop the floor, Wena? How dare you sit with the dents of the... And like, outside of the scope, as a child, how was I supposed to know that I must also mop the floor and do every other thing?
Yes.
So we grow up with that thing where you constantly just don't trust that your efforts are ever going to meet the end of what's required of you.
Yeah.
And this is as a child.
With an underdeveloped brain, just a brain that is so malleable that is still trying to figure out what's happening in the world.
Sure.
And that is the conditioning you're getting. Right? And this is what I mean, that we get into adulthood and we just reenact all those things that we've been learning as children. And a lot of us now have to practice what rest looks like.
Sure.
And sit with that discomfort that, you know what, Moshitadi's here, everything is fine.
Yeah.
Let me sit there. And if something goes wrong, it's fine.
It's fine.
We'll fix it, right? But to get there, it takes lots of practice of just sitting in that discomfort. But you're right. A lot of us have been conditioned at a time when we just needed to be nurtured, when we needed to be taught, when we needed to be explained to.
Yeah.
If you spill the milk, we're not going to have milk anymore. Not hit me.
If you touch fire, it's going to burn you.
You know? And we didn't get that. And I think in as much as there is a level of trauma that our parents had that is generational, I think there's also what I was talking about, that just being a child is such a vulnerable position.
Yeah.
Right? And why there has to be so many laws protecting children. Because if we leave it to parents to protect the kids, there's still going to be so many of us that are going to be wounded in similar ways that generations before us were getting wounded.
Been wounded.
Yeah.
And I think it happens in different ways.
Yeah.
We wound children in different ways. I couldn't help but notice the other day how my niece was crying and her mother was on her phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And it just dawned on me that, like, okay, so the mother before her left and went to college. The mother before her mother went to work in the kitchens.
Yeah.
And she's here. The child is on her lap.
Yeah.
But she went to TikTok.
Yes.
And she lives there.
Yeah.
And this person is crying and looking for attention. Yeah. And she's not here. She's at TikTok.
She's not here.
Yeah.
And that is also the neglect that we're talking about. I see this a lot as well. I think now with the age of technology, we're going to see many different ways that people are wounding children. Putting children on social media, expecting them to work for views and whatnot. And these kids have cameras in their faces every single day. They're being filmed when taking a bath, being filmed doing normal things that you should be able to exist without an audience around you. And you think about what this is going to do to these kids as they get older. If you're so used to being watched, what happens when no one is watching you, right? What does that do to your self-esteem? But
also, who are you when no one is watching?
Exactly, right? And it's just we're gonna find more ways to win children. And I think it comes from just not recognizing and perhaps not even having the education that children actually need us a little bit more than we think they do. I mean, I've seen this as well, where I also had a niece who would be asking for her mother's attention. It would be like, oh, you're supposed to play with your aunt. Not here. And she's on her phone as well. Also on her phone. And that's where people want to spend their time. But the kids need that relationship, that connection that will build their confidence and also make them healthy human beings, because kids need to co-regulate. If I'm feeling this way, I need an adult to come show me what to do with these emotions. And if the adult is like, I'm too busy for you, then what do I do?
But also the adult is also doing something. They are grieving. They are depressed. They are rejected. They are in a heartbreak. So sometimes when I also think about the mother, I think about a girl who was also going through her own things.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Whatever my sister was doing on her phone could have been a way of managing an emotion that this child doesn't know exists. Right.
Dissociating from this, because it's also a bit overwhelming in the moment. And I think that's an important conversation, Kanye, in a sense that, okay, if we are recognizing that there's other things outside of motherhood that affect how we move in the world, that affect how we show up for children, then maybe we should consider the motherhood role a little bit more. Like, we need to really ask ourselves important questions before we bring the children here to say, do I have capacity? Right?
Always the condom.
There's that as well. Do I have capacity? Where is that protection? Have I taken my contraceptives? Like, ask important questions, because yes, there's more in life that is going to affect how you cope, work. And now we're working women, and not just working women in corporate. We also have businesses. We have the responsibility is much higher for women. Now ambitions are also higher, opposed to the way that our mothers were. And so instead of saying, you know what, there's other things in life the kids have to understand. Maybe let's say, maybe I can only have one. Right. And right? So maybe we can consider that.
This is what I can measure, and this is what I can carry.
Absolutely. And I think it takes us to that conversation, because I feel like we're going to keep going in circles to say women don't have community. Women are not supported. Women are also stressed out. It's like, yes. Now let's consider all of those things when we make this decision.
And the fact that it's no longer a joke now that fathers don't stay. Like, I think we used to pretend like it could or could be or could not. No.
They are not.
They are not staying.
They are not staying. And it's very clear.
So, in its clarity, in as much as we don't want it, I think
that is the reality that we now have to consider.
I sat with Penwell the other time, and he said something that rubbed women off the wrong way, right? That
he does.
And my question to him was, what criteria would you apply to have if you had one more child with another woman, right? And what's the one thing? And he said,
considering another child?
Oh no, he's going for 10.
Oh my goodness.
So he says, I would want a woman who can raise a child by herself.
What in the world is that?
That's honest, right? And I think he represents a very big number of men that are not saying
that are not saying it out loud.
What I appreciated about that conversation was that he was telling the truth. In as much as we want to have a hoo-ha about men leaving, there are men that actually tell you.
But are they also just creating a culture of normalizing it even further?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They are. I think they are also bleeding their own traumas on the situation.
Absolutely.
They are perpetuating what
And
what
they have their own
suffered.
mother wound there that they're also
Mother
not
wound, father wound, all wounds, all of it.
Yeah.
But with this, could women perhaps also say, okay, the red flags are no longer blueable and greenable anymore.
They are red.
They are very red.
Billboard.
And we have enough evidence. I mean, we are living in an age where I know what happened to your marriage. I know what happened to your baby daddy. You've narrated it to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where else in the past, if I knew of a divorce, it's the woman down the road and we've just heard that the man never came back and that's all there is to the situation and that's it, right? And maybe on radio, you hear that someone in Shayandima verifying, you don't even know where that is, this and this happened.
Yeah.
Now on a daily basis, you open
Women
YouTube,
share
TikTok,
their stories.
Facebook, everything.
Yeah.
Women are sharing their stories and the stories are the same, right? When the story is carving, you already know where it's going because you've heard it over and over again.
True.
So now that we've got the information, what decisions could we then make about marriage, motherhood, and the family unit?
Yeah. You know what? I have these conversations with my friends as well and my younger sisters that I think that is also part of the cultural motherhood is that women are conditioned not to believe other women.
Yes.
And to shame other women for their experiences. You must be the problem. It will never happen to me. Right?
Yep.
I will have a man who loves me and all of those things. And also we're just being conditioned to think women hate each other.
Yes.
So if they're saying,
true.
if they're warning you about marriage, it's because they're jealous of you. They don't want you to get married. If your friends are saying, please girl, that guy, he's...
Oh no, you want him.
We are getting some energy from him. We don't think he's good for you. It's like they're jealous of me.
They're jealous.
Because they are not married. They're not in relationships. And I always say like a lot of the things that I have saved myself from, that I didn't make bad decisions when it comes to those things, it's because I listen to women.
Sure.
I listen to women. There's never been a point where my friends are single mothers and I go, oh, it's because they're not lovable, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Right? And if they tell me the story, I believe it, right? I'm not the Thomas. I don't want to see...
Good for you.
I don't want to see with my eye. And that came from confronting my own internalized misogyny.
Yeah.
Because if you do not confront that, women are not going to be your ally. You are not going to take anything, women. If Kanye's sitting across me and is giving me advice, it would be, oh, it's because she wants all the good things for herself. Yeah. Why would she be married and tell me that marriage is not all that?
Yeah.
It's because she wants to be in there all by herself. Right?
And there are women who do that, by the way, who do want to be there by themselves.
But how many are there?
And I mean,
and also in our circles.
Yes.
With people that love us, that have shown us multiple times that they care for us.
But with this, when it comes to men, they don't.
You know what? Only when it comes to men, they're jealous.
Because men are such a prize.
Right? So it comes from confronting that internalized misogyny. Only that way would you be able to not only have healthy relationships with women, but to save yourself from a lot of things that women have been through already. And also, you are right. There are patterns already that show this is where it's going. If you do 1, 2, 3, if that man tells you and he's left 6 women, Daniel, if he's left 6 women before, he's most likely going to leave you as well. So the idea that you are so special comes from that internalized misogyny.
Yeah.
Right? Women, I'm in competition with women.
Yeah.
I have to be special than other women. And that's always going to lead you into the most...
Does the motherwound not cause that?
It does. And that's why I was calling it the cultural motherwound, because we are being raised by mothers who see us as competition as well.
Where does that come from?
That internalized misogyny, like it's been in generations and generations of women and you see it at weddings as well. You will get married and you've been my friend all my life. And then we get there, they're like, now you're not friends with these unmarried people anymore. I have loved you all my life. I'm not going to love you now. I'm not important. I can just be discarded just like that because you are getting married. So it is embedded so much in our culture and is perpetuated by women. right?
Truly.
And even in the households, the language our mothers use in regards to our relations with men. No one is going to marry you if you don't want to, if you don't do 1, 2, 3. Don't trust women. Don't trust friends. They're going to do, and we also see them not have friends. We see our mothers not have friends, and we think, oh, maybe this is just how it's supposed to be. Women are untrustworthy. But because we are not in community with other women, it's so easy for us to be taken advantage of things that we could have been warned against, right? And I think you're right in saying we should face the reality, right? So that whole, your friends don't love you. You have to discard them and find other married women. And you get that all these women are abused in their relationships. They're like, just stay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, as you don't look happy. What's going on? And they're like, no, this is just how it is. If you want to stay married, this is how it is.
And
but your friends
don't tell other people also.
Yeah. Don't tell other people. That isolates you as well. And when we don't have community, it's very easy for us to be abused in many ways.
Speaking of motherhood and friendships.
Yes.
I struggle with that on so many levels.
In what way?
One, I struggle with the concept. I think someone asked me on their podcast one time if my relationship with my mother is great. And I said, yes, it's great. Right. And she said, are you guys friends, or is it just like, she's your mother? And I don't know what I said, but I just remember driving home thinking, she's supposed to be my friend.
No.
Is my mother supposed to be my friend? No. I don't know. And as I'm growing, there's a lot of it that I relate with her on a level of,
because you're an adult now.
I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Having had known what it is to be a mother, being married and an end. There are a lot more conversations to speak about in an end. But like, no.
Yeah.
She's not my friend.
Listen, our mothers have to have their own friends, and we have to have our own friends. And it's fine if we have a great relationship, right? And we can talk about things, because now I'm an adult, but you're my mom, I'm your daughter, right? There are things that will be reserved for my friends.
Yeah.
Like, there are things, if we go on holiday and we're twerking, I'm twerking with my friends.
Yeah. And like, don't ask me to send you a picture of my twerking. I'm not your friend.
Right. And I think that's why I think it's important for mothers specifically to have a community of friends.
Yeah.
Right. It takes the load off of your children to be your friend. Then you could go and be with your other friends, and your daughter could have her own identity with her own friends and go have that. But I think when we are talking about the motherhood and friendships, it's very important. You can't, your community can't just be your husband. It's actually going to strain the relationship.
Yeah, because you expect too much.
Yeah,
this one
way
person.
Too much. Yeah. And you deserve that community outside of that relationship, especially one that supports you as a unit. Yeah, that loves you, both of you, and wants you to do well. Yeah. And so we need to have friends. I am a friends advocate. I think all women need to do the work in regards to getting that, and also finding healthier ways to have friendships, because there are also unhealthy ways of having friends.
What does that look like?
Well, you could also, one of the things that I struggle with is group friendships.
I tried.
You tried.
I failed.
Yeah.
Like literally last week I left a friendship WhatsApp group.
Yeah. You're like, I'm done here.
I was just like, because I was going through something.
Yeah.
And I realized that I can't tell this one person because if I'm telling them, I'm going to be telling 6 other people.
And I don't feel safe with those.
I don't want for the 6 other people to know what I'm about to tell this one person.
Yeah.
And then I realized that actually this means that amongst the 7 people, I don't have a real friend in here.
Yeah.
And if I want to cultivate a real friendship with this one person or these 2 people, I'm going to need to do it outside and away from the group.
Yes.
Because then it also hampers what could have been a good and intimate friendship with this one. Because then I'm keeping a secret from them, because they might tell 6 other people. Yeah, no, friend group friendships.
No.
Stop.
You know what? I hear you because I had to define it.
Yeah.
I don't like the enmeshment. I don't like the triangulation. I love one-on-one relationship. Even if we end up in a group, we have to be very clear that we have individual relationships with people, right? If I tell you, they don't have to go and
tell other people.
And so when I make a friend and we end up in a group, I sort of just in my own way make it very clear, like, this is my friend. And I know everyone else
no
my friend. And if I am going to develop other friendships with the people in the group, they're also going to be very individual, where I'm not going to report to my other friend that I was speaking to so and so, right? Those relationships become sacred in that way. And that's what I mean by sometimes they can be unhealthy because they take on that dynamic that we have in our families where the triangulation where you can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
And in our friendships, we need to be able to say, you know what, I trust this person.
Yeah, and that's such subtle sibling rivalry.
Yes.
That we
because
never...
of that triangulation.
Yeah.
And our mothers do not create room for us to have individual relationships. To say you have a relationship with your sibling, it has nothing to do with me. You guys don't have to report to me unless she's in trouble, she's been self-destructive. Then we can, you can come to me and say, I tried 1, 2, 3, and I think there's something going on here.
You know what I struggled with in terms of that is when the parentification for me as a firstborn daughter came much later.
Yeah.
Because I was raised by my grandmother and we had space, I think, between me and my siblings, each of us have a space of 6 years.
Yes.
Right. And so we also never really lived in the same house, all 3 of us at the same time.
Yes.
Right. And then only later when I was an adult and my younger brother was now in matric and I had to figure out where he needed to go and then they say with my youngest sister.
Yeah.
But what was hampering towards the relationships was that they saw me as their mini mother.
Of course.
I was obviously the deputy parent.
Yeah.
But that meant that our relationships had like a mother thread to them. So if you told me about your boyfriend, you also have to worry that your mother is going to know. Right?
Yes.
And your mother is going to come, a sneaker on the other side saying, oh, did you guys talk about contraceptives? Like that's the parentification that I really, really struggled with. Like, why am I talking to your child about contraceptives?
This is your job.
You guys claim to be friends also.
Yeah.
Because there's this thing with mothers and the younger children.
Oh, of course.
Where they act like they're very
close.
Close and buddy. But like when you guys must talk about contraceptives, I must do it.
Yeah.
And then I must just be like the witch in the relationship.
Yeah. The one that does the dirty
Is she studying?
Yeah.
Oh, but you guys can go shopping together and be nice and take selfies. But then you're going to come back and ask me if your child is studying. So that I can be the witch.
Yes, absolutely.
I can be the boring one that asks about studying and contraceptives.
Yes.
I think that's it's subtle.
Yeah.
It's subtle because it's not fighting.
Yeah.
The rivalry, you want to imagine it's like the black sheep and the golden child and you guys are fighting. No, it's the subtle one.
It's the role that you were assigned that everyone now relates to you from.
Yeah.
This is the service provider.
It's lonely.
She does 1, 2, 3 and we go to her for that. But there's a way to redefine that because I mean, I have a relationship with my younger sister that is absolutely amazing. And when we are together, she's 21 now. Okay. And she's the type of person that will be, I sent you 500 rands because I got paid for my tutoring and whatnot.
Oh, she's so cute. My sister should do that.
You like, what? And it's because we've had these conversations. I was like, listen, this whole thing of me being a deputy mother, I did not consent to it. It's harming me. And for as long as we continue it, I am also going to have to distance myself from you because it's something that I'm trying to heal from. And I think it was really understood. And you could see it show up in other ways. But because we have such an open relationship, it could also be communicated. Sorry if you feel parentified,
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh yeah, I am feeling parentified right now, but I also understand understand as my sibling, you need me right now and I'm going to do this.
Because there is a line.
Yeah, there is a line, right? But I think that communication, and sometimes our siblings are not ready to meet us where we are, and we just have to create that distance, a little bit of it, until they miss us as people, not the service that we provide. And they're like, oh, I haven't spoken to you in a while. It's like, yeah, because when you call me, you ask for money.
You don't need
and I'm trying to, have a relationship with you.
Sure.
And we can redefine what that looks like and allow it to go through those growing pains of trying to redefine what the relationship looks like. And there are siblings who will never come to the party.
Yeah.
And with those, you have to create the boundaries. Listen, I can only give you this much, or I'm not going to give you anything.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you anything.
I think the boundary conversation is so overdone.
Yeah.
That people never really get to understand what it really entails to have boundaries.
Yes.
And how painful it is.
Very painful.
To have boundaries.
Yeah.
I was telling you earlier about how I had a situation with my mother where she was showing me something.
Yeah.
And this thing that she was doing was her project that she started. And this is her thing, never discussed it with me, and which is fine. And when she was showing me this thing, it obviously needed improvements. It probably needed help. And I had to sit with the pain of just saying, oh, this is so beautiful.
And not offering any help. Yeah.
Full stop. It was so hard to put the full stop. Because I tried so hard to not make suggestions, additions, or offer to help.
Yeah.
And it's what do you call it? When we don't allow our own mothers to make their own decisions and
the enmeshment.
The enmeshment.
We just listen. We've absorbed everything about our mothers, their pain, their dreams, everything. We don't know where they end and where we begin. And I think a lot of us relate to our mothers as if they're children. It's like, this is a grown woman making decisions, right? And some of these decisions, yes, may come from her trauma, but it's also hers to figure out in the same way that you are figuring it out right now.
Take herself out of them.
Exactly. And you'll be in like grown people business. I'll be talking to people and like, oh, if my mom is in some beef with a person, it's my beef now.
I am respecting that person.
Sit this one out. Like, just chill out a little bit. Because a lot of our mothers also are just so chaotic, and you're going to end up in a lot of chaos because of that, right? So we have to allow our mothers to not only live with the consequences of their decisions, as we are living with the consequences of some of our decisions.
Yeah.
So we don't allow that. And it's that enmeshment, and it shows up in the way that we just see our mothers as these helpless little children that need our saving. And they actually do not. These are grown women.
I see it more with men.
Yeah.
Men and the motherwound.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see how, so I've got two figures in my head of men that have, in history, have suffered a mother wound.
Yeah.
The first one, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
The second one, Shaka Zulu. Those two men.
And it's still happening in varying ways even today.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing about this legacy thing, right? Is that you see the modern men right now who is having the Jesus and Mary complex.
Yeah.
And you see the modern man who's having the Nandi and Shaka complex right now. And it shows up totally different.
Yeah.
Right? For example, with Shaka, I honestly think Shaka Zulu's mother wound led him to his death.
Yeah.
Literally. Because he was killed because he started killing other people because he could not deal with the loss of his mother.
Yeah.
But he could not deal with the loss of his mother because he had put his mother at a pedestal like no other. Why?
A god.
A god. Like he had a god complex with his mother because he himself struggled with the fact that his mother suffered because of his birth.
Oh, yeah.
So all his life's mission was to restore this dignity that his mother lost because of being his mother and being, dignified again and being Nkulu and being glorified and being Queen Mother to his death.
Yeah. And that is the toxic guilt that I write about in the book.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who struggle with that toxic guilt. A lot of what happened to my mother, I have to fix.
Yeah.
A lot of what happened to my mother is something that I can undo. A lot of what happened to my mother is mine to now carry to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And you see it with also people who've had mothers who struggled financially, who did not get support from their dad. Now he's a surrogate husband. Now he has to, you hear people like, I'm going to give my mom everything that she's never had in her life. And you're like, okay, when does your life start? Right? And also life is really unfair. I think we are not allowing ourselves to come to terms with sometimes bad things have happened to people we love and we can't fix it.
Yeah.
Right?
We can't do it.
Also, you will fall short because you are not that man that he loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are not that man.
Even if you look like them.
Even if you look like them. Yeah. They had like a whole thing with that particular person.
Yeah.
And you are trying to now step outside of yourself and become that person.
Yeah.
And you see how that just alienates you from yourself as a human being and puts you in roles that you have no business even trying to play.
And ruins your own life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women that I've spoken to, whose mother-in-laws have struggled in an end. Their sons have literally created a stembu in their marriages where everything has to do. You even know that for this man to love me, I need to make sure that his mother is fed, his mother is this, his mother is that. Someone even said, Ari, I'm even scared of the day I'll get the call that his mother has passed on.
So what's going to happen?
What's going to happen to us?
Yeah.
Because I feel like constantly I'm trying to make sure that he does everything that he could for his mother while she's alive, just for our own safety.
Yeah.
Should she die?
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It is that toxic guilt is very insidious in men. I've seen it. Very, very insidious. I've had conversations with men and they're not willing to work on it. They see it as such a noble thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? It's this thing that gives them purpose in life. My mother who struggled, this woman gave me life.
Yeah.
Right. And they get stuck in that son role. And for as long as you're stuck in that son role, you can never transition into the husband. You can never transition. And this is why I think also in the Bible it says that a man will leave his mother and whatnot and be one with his wife. It's because you have to go through that. You have to graduate from being a child. You have to graduate from the primary family into the family that you are now
building
for yourself. Yeah. And a lot of black men can never get to that point.
Ooh, and the mothers follow them there.
And also, it's a thing of power. These women are enjoying the power. I don't think people understand that. They're enjoying the power of having to rule over this man. And also, it also points us back to patriarchy. Sure. These women have been played in the worst ways possible by men. And they are getting a chance to, for the first time in their life, to have power over a man. And that could be intoxicating.
Actually, think about it. You get played by a man.
Yeah.
You create your own man. Yeah. You raise this man. And so come and play them.
And
get your revenge.
He's your puppet now. And that could put you in a position where it just feels really powerful. And for that man to now bring other people that you can also lord over, that is the most powerful position you can find. Just you're a queen with sevens now. Yeah. People running around going, is she fine? Is she okay? You say, and then people are
exhausting.
So it is also a power play that comes from that patriarchy and could also just come from a person being silly. Sometimes we do not talk about how women can just choose to be silly, really weird things. And this is why when we were speaking about it yesterday was the woman has to do her own work around her fears of what this looks like if I'm setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And do that, right? And be okay with the consequences that will come, because there will be consequences.
Yeah.
These men don't want anything with their mothers, right? And be able to sit with that, to say, if this man leaves me for his mother, it's fine.
It's okay.
It's okay, right?
I'm not willing to be in a polygamous marriage with your mother.
Yeah.
But if you think your mother deserves to be monogamous
then
with
go
you,
back to her.
go back to your mother.
But you can't do any of the work for him. He has to want to do it. And I think it's very difficult for these men because they're not willing to sit with that guilt.
Yeah.
Of saying, I just took so much of the responsibility of giving my mom her dreams, being the man that she's always wanted, and all these things that have nothing to do with me. I have to sit with that. I have to sit with that.
We're doing it now. You find women calling their young children my king.
Yeah. Men of the house.
Why is your
a
child
7-year-old men of the house? Like, what are you talking about? This is a child.
Yeah. And they do hear that. And they do internalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the way that now they relate to their siblings becomes different. Their female siblings.
Yeah.
So, I'm the man of the house. The way they move in the family system also becomes, and I think that's also how we perpetuate patriarchy.
Yes.
Is that we teach these young boys from a very young age that they are more special. Because just being born male makes them exceptional, right?
Yeah.
And that is also going to create a clash in the relationships they have with women moving forward.
How does someone know that they have no skill of loving as a mother?
Yeah, I love that you asked skill.
Yeah.
Because, I get so frustrated when I talk to people and they're like, as long as you carry that child for 9 months, the unconditional love.
No.
And you're like, it's not evident in any of the relationships that we are observing. Maybe, are we sure that it's there, right?
No, it's a lot.
So, I think also the main thing that could show you if you don't have the skill is your relationship with your mom.
Okay.
Right. So if my relationship with my mom is one that were characterized by lack, where I didn't feel loved, you did not learn it. Like, be honest with yourself.
Oh, so you did not learn love when it was supposed to be given to you. So you may not have the skill to pass it on.
Where would you get it?
Damn.
Because you're supposed to observe it or have someone give it to you for you to know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Right? If your mother was paying attention and saying, oh, you're crying, I'm really sorry, I can understand this is frustrating, but you're not getting that toy because we don't have money, right? Instead, you just got the hitting. There was no validation for your emotions. You will not have that skill. You will not have that skill.
Sure.
So it becomes work of saying, okay, you know what? I didn't get what I needed from my mom. And I may not even know what that looks like, but I know how it feels like.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't have the language to say, I did not get nurturing, I did not get this and that. And we don't even know what it looks like, but we know that relationship didn't feel okay.
Yeah.
Didn't feel okay. I don't feel loved by this woman. When I'm with her, I want to change myself. There's like this disconnect that I feel with my mom. And because I feel that with my mom, probably there is something there. And I should just take it from, I'm starting from ground zero.
Yeah.
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 And not delude yourself with, oh, because I carried this child for 9 months, it means that I am loving.
Yeah.
And also you said something earlier where someone said, I gave birth to my child and I had these bursts of like feelings of love and all of that. And I think sometimes we confuse whatever we're feeling with love. Because it's so intense.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen people get really obsessed with their partners to a point of abuse. And they're like, I really love this person. You're like, are you sure?
Are you sure? Yeah.
Because your actions do not prove that you love this person. So there's a lot of us who think that our feelings translate to love. But I like the way that you asked the question. It is a skill you learn. And now we are so lucky that there's so many books out there around conscious parenting, what it does it look like to validate your children's emotions, what it does look like to meet them where they are, where their brain is in that moment. So there's a lot of information now for us to tap into that information. You have to just assume. If you have a mother, won't just assume Zero.
That you're starting from nowhere.
Zero. And it's fine. It means that you can really define what motherhood looks like for you. And I think when people realize that actually I don't know anything, they get really frustrated with themselves. I've heard someone say to me, I gave birth and my child was here and I just didn't know what to do. And I was really frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, was your mother present? So there was no one. How would you know? Right? So now the work becomes, what is out there? Where are the people that I can learn from? Right? And you pick and choose what works for you.
Yeah.
But the beauty of that is that you can really define it and hone it to match you and your child's personality. So just assume you're starting from zero.
Scratch.
And enjoy the journey of trying to figure that out.
Sure.
And I think I mentioned this yesterday about how our children do not expect us to be perfect.
No.
We assume they think
They do, but they don't.
No, they don't. And your children have so much capacity to allow you to be human, right? As long as you also allow them to be human. And that creates for a very beautiful relationship. So you're starting at zero, you're figuring it out, you are matching your parenting skills to your child's personality, and each child is different. And you're constantly going to define what that looks like.
Yeah.
Just start from zero.
You're actually reminding me to make this announcement that one of the programs we have in 2026 is what we call for the firstborn daughters.
Yeah.
It's called Healing the Motherline.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do there is that a lot of firstborn daughters that have daughters have realized that they've harmed them.
Yes.
In trying to cope, in trying to reincarnate whatever that they realized, like you're saying, that they experienced, they did it to their children.
Yes.
I've had people
that's the skill they had.
That is also skill they had.
Skill
I've had people that come. I think at every retreat, actually, there's always been a woman that comes with her daughter and says, "Look, I'm 40, and I don't know what so far I have done to this child. And I know I can never get my mother in the room, but I can get my child in the room and sort of also try and get her to find her own healing while I try to figure out how to do that as well for her going forward. So I am looking forward to that one. It's going to be an incredible one.
Absolutely. And you're going to realize how these kids are just want to meet the human in their mother and to connect with that human, not some perfect God. And I think that's the mistake that most mothers make. They want to position themselves. And this is where also perfectionism comes in. Where a mother just expects you to be perfect and they have to position themselves as this perfect human being. I never did
so
this
that
and that.
Can be perfect.
I never did this and that. And you can't reach them as a human being. Like you there's this wall because of this persona that they are trying to. And also I think many of them have this fear that if I present myself as human, then I might just be giving my child leeway to just do whatever they want to do. And that's not always the case. Children are willing to learn from their mothers, right? And yes, there are other influences outside and in situations where you may need professional help, but most children are willing to listen and meet the
mother with it. Yeah, they are. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Where do you start reparenting yourself? You've heard this word so many times.
Yes.
And I remember you saying people have transformed this whole reparenting thing to the consumerism side of it. Like, I'm going to buy myself new shoes because I never had shoes. Oh, I'm going to give my inner child.
I'm going to eat all the chocolates.
What they never got. I'm going to eat the chocolate because I never got chocolate. But we both know it's far more than that.
Yeah.
Where do you start reparenting yourself?
Yeah. And so this is what the book is based on, a self-mothering practice. What does it look like to really parent yourself? And I focus specific on the mothering skill, right? Okay. So we start by just taking care of the body. That's the first thing that we do when an infant comes into our lives. We're just focusing on keeping them alive.
That fragile body.
Yeah, and also making sure that they get what they need, the right nutrients. It's not just they have to drink milk or whatever. It's like breast milk is better, right? Because of 1, 2, 3. We're considering all these things.
Yeah.
We're considering the energy around this child. And that's why I speak about the concept of Wikilela in the book. And this is something we've lost in our own lives as well. You're just everywhere with everyone. And you think you're going to be okay, right? And contributes to a whole lot of things that we're struggling with.
The energy leaks everywhere.
Yes. So we start there. And also we were speaking about this earlier about the concept of rest. Right?
Yeah.
How many of us had been conditioned to just constantly keep going. And that's where you start, right? Just take care of the body, the energy around you. And you also realize, and the reason we start there, because I've had people come with depression and say, I'm so depressed. And we start there and they're like, actually, I've been feeling good. And I was like, yeah, it's because you've been eating well. Yeah. That was not even about your motherhood. Right? We will get to other things, but now you are eliminating a whole lot of other things.
The environment is clearer. You've cleansed your environment.
Yeah. And it's eliminating a whole lot of other things and leaving you with the core stuff.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're taking care of your body, because you are resting, because you are making sure that you have people who love you around you or who care about you.
Yeah.
You're not stressed anymore. And you realize, actually, even the anxiety that I thought I had because of my motherhood is not here anymore, right? And so we can say, what's left? Let's go there.
Yeah.
And you realize what's left is actually the things now we have to focus on. You have these emotions that you have been bottling up since you were a child, right? And we're making room for those emotions. And in the book, I categorize them as shame, guilt, anger, and fear. And there's like different symptoms that fall under each emotion.
Yeah.
And you realize when you do the work of focusing on a specific emotion, a whole lot of other things fall away.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, I had people-pleasing issues. I had like lack of boundaries and all of that.
Self-sacrificing.
Actually, I'm able to do that. And it's because you were focusing on guilt, which is the governing emotion for those symptoms or those things that you were struggling with. Or you had low self-esteem. I couldn't do public speaking and all of that. And we focus on the work around shame, right? You're like, actually, yesterday I went to a thing and I was very comfortable. Well, like, yeah, because your inner child is now given space to express those feelings that she had around just not being accepted for who they are. And if they were really a child that was outspoken, this was something they were shamed out of.
No one is going to tell them to shut up.
Yeah. And now you're recognizing that, you know what, I'm an adult, I'm safe, I can, and it becomes much easier because you were focusing on that emotion that governs all of those symptoms that you were struggling with. So there is steps to this. And I say, start here. Take care of the body, take care of your mind, take care of the energy around you. And then the stuff that you need to take care of will show themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can focus on that. And this book offers that guide towards that. And what I like towards the end is we now speak about making room for joy, which is something people struggle with. I mean, if I am unable to rest, how will I even allow myself to just experience joy or in a space where things are going great and I'm not all over the place?
But also, I don't internally believe that joy is going to end fast.
I mean, I grew up in a culture that was like, right?
You're going to cry.
So you knew she was like too much today.
Something's going to happen.
I can forget before.
Your eye even starts twitching. And
exactly.
You're going to cry.
Like something is off. But I realized that it's because we are afraid of experiencing our emotions in their purity, right? And when we're experiencing joy in all of what it is, we also have to experience the grief. And we think because I was so happy the grief is going to be, it's fine.
Yeah.
The more we are able to experience our grief the way it is and allow space for it, we are also going to allow ourselves to experience the joy. So they go hand in hand. You curb this, you curb this. The people that suppress their grief, that do not speak about things that are also can't experience joy.
Yes.
They can't.
Yes.
Because the issue is experiencing emotions.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to start then. This is why we start with the grief part.
Okay.
Cry for your inner child, man.
Yeah.
Like, they did not have space.
That helps so much.
It does.
You know,
in safe spaces with people you don't have to explain a lot.
Ever since I started doing this work with firstborn daughters, it has allowed me to cry as well. I remember yesterday, I was facing something that required me to cry.
Yeah.
And I remember being on the phone with my mother, and she said, "Oh no, this thing is gonna get sorted out. You are strong. Skala, be strong, my girl." And I said, "No,
Yeah.
I'm crying.
Yes.
It hurts. I'm gonna cry." And did I cry?
Mm.
But like today, I was fine.
Exactly.
And fully.
Mm.
I was not pretending because I need to show up for you.
Yeah.
And then so today I'm fine.
Yeah.
But like yesterday, I cried.
Yeah.
And I also realized how I am giving myself permission to validate my feelings for what they really are. Like that situation
You are
hurts.
literally already reparenting yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there I was teaching my mother how to reparent me because she wanted the strong girl.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, I'm not the strong girl. For this one,
Yeah.
I'm actually crying. And it was one validating my feelings, two sitting in the grief and giving it the chance
You
it
realize
deserves.
it doesn't last and it doesn't
last.
kill you.
It doesn't last.
It doesn't.
I really, really gave it what it deserves.
It lasts longer if you suppress it, right?
Yeah.
The more you suppress it, the more you're like, I'm not going to cry. I'm really strong. That thing.
It
just stays with you.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I'm just going to give myself this 20 minutes to really ugly cry, it's gone. The next day, it's like a brighter day and you're enjoying your life in the way that this is what I mean. This is what I mean.
Yeah.
Where you can face the grief. The joy comes. Joy comes in the morning.
Yeah, after the grief. And sometimes after 20 minutes.
Exactly. So, but you have to allow the grief to happen. And our inner child deserves that. They didn't have space to cry.
Yeah.
A lot of us grew up with mothers who did not allow that. I'll give you something to cry about if you are crying. Yeah. So there's a lot of injustices that happen to us that we could not cry about.
Yeah.
And we just have been bothered. And the system is full of tears now. And you have to create that. And I love the space that you create in a sense that now people are offloading all of those tears of all of those years.
Yeah.
Where they've never had a safe space to cry those tears.
And cry about things that they were shamed for crying about.
Yeah.
Things that they thought they have no business crying about. Yeah. Because what do you mean
even
you are
their
hurt?
bodies was telling them this is something that we need to cry about.
Yeah.
And so we making room for that now. And I think in making room for that, the joy comes. And then you'll see a lot of women, the things that we struggle with, rest, joy, blah, blah, blah. We are going to see a certain type of Black woman who is just happier and more rested and looks younger for longer.
And that's
because
of that
legacy. Yeah.
That's on legacy.
Yeah.
Passing down happier habits, happier mothers,
yes,
happier wives, happier people in general.
Yeah.
Right? So I would love to see people heal the mother wound. Yeah. It's a painful one to watch people go through.
One person at a time.
Yeah. It's a painful one to watch people go through. So thank you. Thank you for this work. This difficult work that you're doing.
But it's work that can be done. It's work that can be done. I see people transform their lives in the most beautiful way. It just requires you to show up.
Amazing.
Really show up authentically. And especially because I'm creating a safe space for that.
Yeah.
Right? And I would like for more women to create space for that. Women who are doing the work, saying, come, let's do this together.
Yeah.
In that way, we heal not just the women, we heal their children, we heal the friends that they are in. We heal the people that they are bosses to. Because people have this thing also where they're like, a Black woman manager,
run away.
We are going to suffer. And it also comes from that mother wound.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're not just healing individuals. We're allowing people to heal as a collective, and healing as a collective in what you say. It's a whole legacy of just really healed, healthier women.
Yeah. And you've summed it up. I love when you said healing as a collective, because that's what we're doing. And I wish you well. I wish you healing. And as a collective, I wish us more and more grace to keep discovering and healing some more. This has been the Legacy Collective with Kanyisa. I love you. Bye.